The lesson.
Oh yeah.
And then do you have, I mean, obviously, you remember the things that you got kicked off for. And I'm surprised. I mean, how many times in total do you think
We got kicked off?
Yeah.
At least twice.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say at least twice.
It could have been 3.
I feel like if it was 3, we
You
probably would have
been
stayed kicked off.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was more than once. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, wow. And then so on the flip, like what are the standout positive memories? Like, for example, guests or ciphers.
It was so much fun. Like, we were being idiots. You listen to this and you're like, that's the most unprofessional thing I've ever heard in my life. Man, it was fun. You know what I mean? Because most of it was unscripted. It wasn't like, all right, tonight, and then this time you're going to do that. It was like, hey, you want to come to the radio show tonight? Yeah, sweet. And it's like, come down, bring booze. And we're just like, yeah, we'll play some music. We'll all be having fun. And then it's just like, you want to rap? Yeah, let's rap. And then just, chaos. And then, all right, we'll play some more music. All right, we'll rap again, whatever. But some of the best ones was, I remember we had Stain DJing for a minute.
Oh.
And his freestyle radio DJ sets were better than most people's pre-planned club sets. Yeah. You know what I mean? He'd just I'm gonna chuck this one, chuck that one, beat juggle, and do this and do that. He'd just be sitting there like, this is good radio now, Yeah, and it was just like you'd get people just come to the door, you knock, 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 and you go look at the door. It's like, oh, what's up? It's Motions or whoever, just someone who was like, yeah, I'm gonna come down to 3D. We've got a few random people that we kind of had to, sorry, bro, I don't know you. But, you just get mates just like, hey, what's up? And you're like, yeah, come in. What's the statute of limitations on all this, man? None of it's a crime.
Well, I remember...
You can't kick me off again.
I remember hearing Motions in there a few times.
Yeah, a lot of, certified guys, but mostly like the Oars and Vents and whatever.
Yeah.
And we had the Hoods in there, and I think we had Delta at some point, maybe. No, I can't actually remember. I hope we did, because I like Delta. But and the Adroit guys, basically anyone doing anything
at that time.
Come through.
Yeah. It was crazy. I remember we did a gig in 02 at the Uni Bar, Flinders. And I think it was ozhiphop.com.
Yeah, man. That was the mothership.
Yeah, so I think maybe we posted it in one of the forums, and there was the radio forum.
Yeah.
And we were hoping that you guys would plug it. And we were tuned in, and when you did, it was such a massive deal to us.
That's where we got our information from, mostly. Because that's where that was the central hub.
Yeah. I remember that shit so clearly, man. For dudes that, you might not realize it, but for dudes, or maybe you do, but guys who were just fans. Yeah. Or who were doing elements of the art, but weren't on that tier that you guys were on at the time.
Well, think about how many, good people or, at least people that about kind of started off as just a forum member on that forum. Do you know what I mean? That's how we met dudes like Vents and stuff like that, It's just dudes on the forum. And then you'd get we're going to Melbourne, and it'd be like, oh, let's catch up, catch up with Pat Ho and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it's just, that was a good way to bring people together, because before that it was kind of, how are you going to know people? We did that a little bit, but it's because we knew dudes who knew dudes. Do you know what I mean? So you go to Melbourne, someone knows someone, and then, you meet some people. But if you're a young dude or whatever at that time, and you don't know anyone from anywhere else, it's hard to sort of build those relationships. Yeah. But if you got this place where it's just people talking smack about hip hop all day, and it's just I'm coming to Melbourne. Oh man, catch up, yeah. So that was awesome. That was a good thing.
Yeah, it was, man. That was right when MySpace era.
Spinning gifts and shit.
Now, you mentioned that you had the Hoods in there once, and man, I reckon it was a couple years ago. My mate brought me the tape. He's got the tape of that show.
I bet you, like, Suffa would probably give you money to destroy that
tape. So, well, this is like 2 years ago, maybe 3, and I just remember like he's after his shift.
It was a wild night, yeah.
And I don't remember what the raps were. I just remember hearing it and just going, "Wow, this is
like we were at the peak of fucking around that night." You know what I mean?
So do you remember that? Because
I remember it. Yeah.
So I guess because for me it's a memorable one because I remember my mates working at like the milk factory. And for some reason, I've ended up there after his shift, and we hopped in his car, and he still had the cassette deck.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oi, check what I found in this old shoebox." And I just remember being in the car, just bugging out.
Yeah,
because by this stage, you know, we're talking like this might have been 2016, 17. The Hoods are a phenomenal, you know, powerhouse.
I feel like that appearance on the radio show was before that, though.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it was long before that. So to hear that raw...
Man, I reckon somewhere I've got a tape of them on 93.7 in the shade with Madcap like before Matter of Time. You know what I mean? Like doing Back Once Again raps. Man, I hope I can find that tape. I'm going to go home and look for it.
Suffa will probably give you money to get rid of that.
Give me money to get rid of that one. No, give me a nice bottle of wine. But you know what I mean? Like, so for all the people that were kind of listening to our deranged stupidity on the premium blend, like this is how we're getting stuff. Like we were doing the same thing with like Derek's show. You know what I mean? Like him and Next and man, my brain is not working, but there were a couple of other people with that show as well. And we used to go and, you know, drive the car out and just sit in the car listening to that. And then when the Hoods were on that was like a big moment for us because it's like, oh man, these dudes, you know, from Blackwood that we know are like on the radio show. This is wild, you know. It's like, and and then, you know, you kind of, it's interesting that you then kind of get to be that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get to be the radio show that someone else is on and someone else is listening to going, oh, man.
Well, yeah, because now we're in that sort of position
now. That's you, right?
And people are listening to our shit and they'll be like, oh, you know, we heard this, that, and the third. And like,
yeah, well, like, because when you're a young dude, like, especially doing that stuff, like, any kind of just exposure is like, man, I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm not just sitting in the park, like, rapping.
Yeah, things are happening.
Yeah, it's like, this is progress. People are hearing this. If I'm good, you know, maybe I'd do something else, you know?
So I guess with that particular episode, can you walk us through the memory of like, you know, that, because I only came in once to your show, hey, when you were on
just the once. Yeah. Oh man, I don't really want to like, I'm just trying to think what I can say that is, you know. It's not that anything bad happened. I just don't want to be like, oh, you know, there's doing this or that or the other thing, especially when my memory's mad hazy.
Well, I guess the reason I ask is because for me
it was
as
a
standard
listener, premium blend night. We were drinking, we were freestyling, and we were fucking around, and we were just fucking around super hard. You know what I mean? Like Suffa was doing impersonations and voices and things. Do you know what I mean? Like it was that level of silliness. So yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, they were doing this or that or the other thing. It was just, we just went in on being dumb.
And you guys actually carried on like that for like the whole show, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't like from memory, it wasn't like a 5-minute.
No, hell no. They were like guest hosting sort of
because
thing.
I remember when I was listening, my mate was like fast forwarding the tape.
Yeah.
So he's skipping all the music going, all right, now listen to it again. Yeah. And yeah, now that you say that, I remember, it was the commentary that was going on.
Just being silly.
But then they actually rapped on there as well.
They did, yeah. They did.
Yeah. For some reason, I remember the commentary more than the rap. Maybe that's why.
The commentary's sillier. You know what I mean? Like, the raps were always had elements of just being silly. Because, you know, people who kind of gave a shit would come in and like try to put on their best, like, I'm going to do this sick rap and stuff. Most of the people we had on were just there to have fun. Yeah. And a freestyle was like, you know, I don't hang around with people anymore in the you know, who are still freestyling, but back then a freestyle was like you're just making it up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's still the go. Maybe it is.
Probably is here and there. Yeah, here and there.
But then it was like, if you come with a written and you're saying you freestyle, it's like, that's worse. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be honest and go, I'm going to do this verse.
Yeah.
And people would be like, yeah, sick. But if you're like, yeah, I'm going to freestyle, and then you come with this perfect written, it's like, nah,
that was a no-go, man.
I see you. You know, like a shitty freestyle was better than like a pretending to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could tell the difference.
Yeah, and like most freestyles, when you've had that much to drink, are pretty shitty.
Yeah. Wow. And then I guess other than the Hoods episode, is there another time? Because that was a standout one from my memory.
Yeah. We had some like remember like this is gonna kill me. Oh, when Minus and Checkmate and Stuart, like all the hospice dudes came through and the oars were there, that was a party, man. Like, it was a literal like a party. Like, there's, you know, more people in the radio station than probably at most house parties. Like, we were just getting it done, and you know, they were all rapping, and then like they were battling and stuff. That was a fun night, man. That was some wild shit.
I'm gonna have to speak to Homeboy, see if he's got.
Yeah, I've got a bit of the freestyle somewhere, like on an MP3.
Yeah,
like the bit where Minus and Sester are having a bit of a battle. That's funny.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, I haven't got the whole show of any of the shows.
People got them though.
They're out there, man. That's the thing you don't think about when you're doing that dumb stuff. Like, someone's recording this, and it's probably going to be around forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
10 years later, you're on a radio show.
Watch what I'm saying right now. This might be going on the internet. Once it's on YouTube, man.
It's on forever.
Yeah, that's it. Google owns it.
The lesson.